Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Mind your business. Only on Money FM 89.3.
Good morning. Welcome to Mind Your Business with me, Audrey Seek. And you know, in a world where so many products feel mass-produced and a little impersonal, it's refreshing to come across a brand that's brimming with originality, warmth, and a real personal touch. Today's guest took a simple idea, turning her hand-drawn illustrations into keepsakes, and grew it into a lifestyle brand that's now loved by families far and wide. It's a journey fueled by passion, persistence, and plenty of creative spirit. From custom wedding art to children's pillows, blankets, and playful wall decals, she's built a business that blends design and emotion in a very thoughtful way. So let's welcome the creative force behind Ember and Ash, founder Colette Chan, here to share her story, the lessons she's learned, and where her imagination is taking her next. Good morning, Colette. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thank you for having me here today.
It's great to have you. So let's start at the beginning, the first steps of Ember and Ash, as I would like to say. Where did this all begin for you? And was there a particular moment or season in life that kind of nudged you to start creating and sharing your illustrations?
Yeah, so Ember and Ash actually started back in 2020 to 2021. It was like the COVID period back then.
Yeah.
And I was preparing for my wedding. So I just wanted to pick up a new skill and to create something meaningful for my husband and I. So I just started doing our digital illustrations based off our wedding photos. I wanted to put it on our wedding favors, decor, and things like that. So it just started for fun, but it's sparked something in me. And I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. And then I started thinking, what if this could be something more, and what if this could be a side hustle? So that's how it all started.
Okay. So you didn't start with the aim of building a business, but simply because you wanted to feel something and to share your work. But when did it hit you that this could grow into a real brand then?
Yeah, so I actually wasn't sure if anyone would pay me any money for this, and I wasn't very confident in myself. So what I did was I put out a social post saying that for the first 5 customers, they could get digital illustrations from me for free. And the response was overwhelming. Like the response started coming in, and after the 5 free illustrations were done, people were willing to pay me for commission pieces. And I actually had to put people on the wait list because I'm a one-woman show and it takes me time to draw all of these. And so when people had to wait months for the illustration to be done, I think that's when it started feeling real, and I was like, wow, this could be something bigger.
Okay, so looking at the business, you guys focus a lot on children, of course, with the pillows and the products that cater to children. And we know that motherhood played a big role in your journey. So how did your early experiences, shape your mindset as you shifted from employee to founder? And then, of course, now you run this business.
Yeah, so I think before motherhood, right, I was just an employee, and it felt very easy for me to balance everything. Like my job was, it was high stress. I had to work odd working hours because of the markets I was working with, but it felt manageable. And I'm always someone who has very high expectations of myself, and I try to give 110% everything that I do, and that everything felt like very okay for me. But once I became a mother, that mentality of trying to be perfect everything I do, that was almost unsustainable, and actually almost unhealthy even, because I couldn't do it all. Like I was a new mom, I was learning on the job, and when I went back to work after my maternity leave, I expected myself to be that corporate girly who was, still giving 110%.
You can't, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I don't think anyone can. And so I started burning out a lot, and it was like over the span of 1 year after I gave birth that, I started feeling very burnt out on a mental, emotional, and even on the physical front. I wasn't getting enough rest, so I was falling sick a lot. And so I made the very difficult decision to leave the corporate job that I did love, because I tried everything. I tried different arrangements at work and at home, and nothing quite worked. So yeah, that's why I made the difficult decision to step away. And just to make it clear, I didn't actually step away to work on Ember and Ash. I just needed a break.
Yeah.
And it was my husband who actually saw that I was really burnt out, and he gave me that clarity and that final pushed to leave my corporate job. And he had that confidence in me that I would be able to find my path eventually. So it was very scary. It was very daunting. But, his support through it all really, really helped me. And yeah, that's kind of like how I shifted from, an employee to running my own business today.
Okay. And speaking of shifts, you've gone from, starting drawing something for your own wedding to, of course, now creating products for children and families. Pillows, blankets, looking at the website, bags, chairs, even baby chairs, wall decals. Can you talk us through this pivot? How do you decide which products to offer?
Yeah. So honestly, this pivot came quite naturally. When I first started, I was working on my wedding, and that's how, I specialize in wedding illustrations. I took a break, when I was going through the whole postpartum phase and all of those challenges. And eventually when I quit my corporate job, I took a break. Being a type A kind of person, I started, diving back into illustrations. And because I was surrounded by kids stuff every day, I'm always like looking at toys, I'm thinking about kids products, I'm looking at my kid and, her interactions with everything around her. The inspiration and the motivation to draw illustrations for like kids, it came naturally. Yeah.
Okay, so besides the design, which I think you have talked about it being clean and modern but still kind of playful, what else sets Ember and Ash apart from the cookie cutter kind of products that we can find today in the market?
Yeah, so I think firstly, because I'm a mom and I'm a mom with very high standards, so I would like to think that I really understand some of the pain points that other parents are going through. So I do, besides, the aesthetic side of things, I also pay a lot of attention to the details, to the functionality and the durability of the product as well. So just take like one of our signature items, the backpack, for example. This was when I wanted to find a backpack for my daughter who was going to infant care. I needed one that was like big enough to put all the things that she needed to bring to school, but something that's small enough for her to handle, because sometimes she does need to handle that on her own. And I also wanted to make sure the material is water and dirt resistant, so that it's easy for parents to maintain, and that it was functional in the sense that it had all like the pockets and components that we need. It has a chest buckle that's safe for little hands, it wouldn't, like, for lack of better word, cap their fingers. And I also wanted to include like a name tag on the back as well, so that it's easy for teachers to identify the bag, but it also keeps their name safe. So it's like all the little details that went into the creation of this bag. And this is just one example, because every single product that I have, they all have like a story and problem that I'm trying to solve.
Yeah, and it seems like that you put a lot of thought into every part of your products. Are your products made locally, or do you work with specific production partners?
Yeah, so I actually they're not made locally, they're made in other markets, but everything is designed from scratch by myself, and I partner them to actually produce them in bulk. I do work with a range of suppliers or factories for my different products. It would be easy to, use just one factory for everything. But what I come to realize is that, every factory, they specialize in certain things. And I only want the best factory for each product. And so I always set out to get samples from many different suppliers, test many different materials. And I test it over a period of time on my own, with my daughter, with my friends. And that's how I select, the best supplier that I'm aware of for each product.
Okay, so pricing, we know, can be tricky for many creative businesses. How do you set your prices, and how do you balance the need for sustainability with making your products accessible to all?
Yeah, so I think, pricing is definitely something that is very tricky to handle. I want to make sure that my products are affordable enough for parents out there. At the same time, because I do pay a lot of attention to the details, to the quality, and to the material, they tend to be more expensive from a cost point of view as well. And also because I'm a small business, so when it comes to meeting minimum order requirements and all of that, from a cost standpoint, I am at a slight disadvantage. So for me, it's always about balancing, how do I still comfortably sustain my business, but also price it affordably for other parents like myself.
Okay. Yeah. And, as the brand has grown, how have you handled the outside pressures, whether it's scaling quickly or, taking on more collaborations or constantly trying to launch something new? We always have to innovate and refresh constantly. How do you balance all of these pressures?
Yeah, so to be honest, it gets to me sometimes, and it's almost like on a daily basis, because on socials you can see other brands that out there, they are launching very quickly, they are growing very fast, their business are big, and it gets to you sometimes in the sense that I would ask myself, should I be doing more? Should I be going faster? But I think the beauty of this challenge that has been thrown at me so far, in terms of my transition from like just a corporate girly to a mother, is that I've gained more clarity on my priorities in life and what it means to lead a rich life. Like, it's not about just the financials anymore or climbing that corporate ladder. Like, a rich life to me means now spending more time with my daughter, with my family, having flexible work arrangements that allow me to plan around my priorities, and also pursuing a business or a career in something that fulfills me on a creative and entrepreneurial front. So having that clarity allows me to set my boundaries, and I just remind myself to stay in my own swim lane, just do my best in whatever I do, and try not to bother about the noise around me.
Yeah, so I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but I remembered the conversation we had before we went on air about the name Ember and Ash, and it's really intriguing how you came up with it. What's the story behind Ember and Ash, and how does it connect to the spirit of your brand?
Right. So I get that question a lot. People always ask me, do you have 2 kids? Are your kids, Ember and Ash?
Yeah, their names.
No, I only have one daughter, and her name is not Ember, nor is it Ash. I think a lot of people don't know this. Maybe only my husband knows this. But Ember and Ash, I started thinking about this name back in 2018, 2019 when 2 of my grandparents passed one year after another. And I started really thinking about life. Like, what does it mean to live a life well lived? And I wanted to start living intentionally. So Ember is that spark. It's, to me, that fiery, unwavering pursuit of the things that I love in life. And Ash is whatever meaningful creations, memories, and legacy that I want to leave behind.
Wow.
So put together, Ember and Ash is like a platform for me to pursue the passions that I have in life, and whatever mark I want to make in this life of mine. And it's not tied to any product or service. It's tied to me as a brand owner. It's a reflection of my personal growth story.
That's wonderful. And, looking back, what's one thing you wish someone told you before you started this journey? And how do you define success for yourself today, both as a mother and as a founder?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, and I think a lot of us know this already, but people often say success looks different for everyone. And I always knew that growing up, right? Like, you could be a chef, a pilot, a baker, whatever it is, success looks different for everyone. But when it comes to a business owner, usually when you think about success, it's always about the money.
Of course.
How big your business is, how fast you're growing, how many followers even. I guess I wish someone reminded me, and maybe I can be the person to remind myself, that even for business owners, success looks different as well. That because I am now clear of my priorities, I am a mom, I'm also a business owner, success looks different to me versus other business owners. For instance, I could grow faster by streaming every day until past midnight. But is that the life that I want for myself? Is it meaningful and is it sustainable? I think I know clearly, like, for example, my nights, I have to protect it for my own mental health, to spend time with my daughter, to my husband. So in many different ways, right? As a business owner, success looks different for me as compared to everyone else. So I don't really want to compare myself to others.
Yeah, definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of situation.
That's
and
right.
If you can tell our listeners where they could find your products.
Yeah, so you can find our products on our website, Ember with an E, E-M-B-R, ember-ash.com. You can also find us on socials as well, shop.ember.ash.
All right. Well, it's inspiring to see how Ember and Ash has grown from a personal, creative project into a brand that truly connects with families. And we were speaking with Colette Chan, founder of Ember and Ash. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a joy.
Thank you. Keep it here on Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.